40,000. That's the number of children and adults in America with cystic fibrosis, or CF. It's a genetic disorder that impacts the lungs and other organs. And there's currently no cure, but organizers planning an Easter-themed fundraiser in the Johnstown area are hoping to make CF stand for Cure Found. It's called Egg My Yard and will be held across Richland Township, Geisttown, Westmont Boroughs, and Conemaugh Valley School District. Starting at 7 p.m. Saturday, April 19th, community members in those areas can order pre-filled eggs that will be hidden by volunteer bunnies so their kids can wake up to an egg hunt Easter morning. Organizers say households can order 25 eggs for $25, 50 eggs for $45, or 75 eggs for $70. For more information, head to passion.cff.org/eggmyyard 2025. The money raised goes towards Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Western Pennsylvania.
It's been a wonderful funding mechanism for medical research for our girls. Like Haley said, sometimes in the beginning we had felt like we were left behind without any medication for the girls to take and didn't know much about the funding. As they started raising money and as our Egg My Yard grew and we were more in touch with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, we could see how important it was and how strong this snowball effect really is in terms of raising the funding needed.
Those parents you just heard from raising twin daughters growing up with one of the rarest forms of cystic fibrosis.
Palma and Lucia Santishan have genetic mutations that are not responsive to current medications and treatments.
Those mutations affect about 10% of people with CF, and they're often overlooked when it comes to research and new treatments.
Video journalist Eric Grant shows us a day in the lives of this local family as they navigate the disease.
We found out approximately 2 days after birth that they had a genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. It's a disease that affects most of the parts of their lives. It affects their pancreas, it affects their digestive system, it also mostly affects their lungs. They spent the first 103 days of their lives in the hospital. They had multiple surgeries and procedures. Finally, we were able to bring them home.
When they're diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, they get, we find out that they have 2 mutations, one for myself and one for Mark. And their combination of mutations are so rare that of the 40,000 people in America with cystic fibrosis, there are only 10 others just like them with their same mutation. It's nice that they have each other though to do this with, because it could be a very lonely disease, in my opinion.
For the daily routine, typically when they wake up, they'll start chest physical therapy.
2, 3,
and have a nebulized medication. It's usually called hypertonic saline, 7%. It's therapy for their lungs. Then they also have a drug called Pulmozyme that they get vaporized. And then we can proceed to breakfast, and of course they need digestive enzymes every time they eat because their body can't digest fat or protein without them. It's not uncommon for them to have an antibiotic going as well because every time they get sick they need antibiotics to get over it. Then we'll do another therapy mid-morning, chest physical therapy, some type of vaporized medication, and then of course more medication when they need to eat lunch. And that can repeat 2 to 3 to 4 times a day, depending on if they're sick or not. Evening, always another session in the evening before they go to sleep.
It's very easy to feel left behind when you're in a rare category in your disease. So, if they were in the category of the 90% of those who can take modulators and things can work out for them, you get excited for what's to come next, and how can they do better with their lungs and things. But when they're in the 10% or the rare variants, it's easy to feel left behind. I think it's going to be very helpful for the 2 of them to have each other because, they could feel secluded at school. And when they're sick and have to stay home for 2 weeks, or in the hospital for 2 weeks. They have each other. Each of them understands what they're going through, and that's a big deal.